Hey guys, it's me, Sasabob, and if you clicked on this video, then I'm going to assume you're at least somewhat familiar with a man named Tyler Catastrophe. If not, hey, that's cool too. I'm glad you're here. I only say this because holy shiitake mushrooms has this guy been doing the rounds on TikTok lately. For those of you who are unfamiliar, let me give you a little taste so you know what we're working with here.
You think there's no way in goddamn hell that I'm going to let down my inner emo teen and dress like a normie. So this is what you end up with. The jacket that you made out of really cool shit to replace the jacket you lost on the worst week of your life. And boom, the emo horror of your dreams.
So, yeah. I first heard about Tyler long before I ever saw him, which on the internet is almost never a good thing. You see, the internet is filled with a lot of mean, opinionated people, so if people are talking about your content rather than watching it, that's almost never a good sign. Now, I've already seen a couple of videos trying to break down the whole Tyler Catastrophe situation, but they always seem to miss key details or whole sections, so just like Thanos, I decided, fine, I'll do it myself, and subjected myself to a fate worse than death, becoming an expert in the Tyler Catastrophe lore. My goal with this video is to condense the absolute insanity that is Tyler Catastrophe's life into one easy to understand video, so next time he pops up on your For You page, you can be all caught up. It's pretty ironic that he calls himself Tyler Catastrophe because, good God, is his life not a complete train wreck? Or maybe scooter wreck in his case? But hey, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, Tyler has two main claims to fame. The first is a very, very unhealthy obsession with an indie rock artist / ex-Minecraft YouTuber named Wilbur Soot. The second is his small business in which he makes mediocre art and jewelry that he tries to sell for exorbitant prices. Let's start with the indie rock artist thing first, shall we? Okay, so ostensibly, this is how Tyler was first discovered. In early 2026, he made a now deleted TikTok in which he confessed his love / obsession for a man named Wilbur Soot.
I have had a crush on Will Gold since 2019 when I heard him laugh in the background of someone else's video and it felt like life itself leaned in to listen. Which is really inconvenient for me because I'm very much a one soul at a time kind of person. So once I develop a crush, virtually no one else stands a chance ever. And I have tried so hard to move on from this, to let it go, because I want so badly for it not to cross over into parasocial territory. But in like the 7 minutes that we spoke to each other, one, every time we made eye contact, I thought my heart was gonna fucking burst out of my chest and fly away. Two, I was so nervous that my head just shut off and my mouth had a mind of its own. Three, he somehow managed to make me want to write music again, something I have not done since my last band broke up in 2019 and I got hit by a car and couldn't sing anymore. And I can sing again now. It took several years, but I got it back because I'm amazing.
So this clip ended up going pretty viral. One, because he's obviously Delulu, and two, because for some reason he decides to talk and dress like the millennial final boss. And this was just way too powerful of a combination for the internet to ignore. I will give him some credit though, as he seems to be at least somewhat self-aware. Somewhere in the 3-minute clip he says, obviously I'm delusional, which, yeah, at least he kind of gets it. But then he ruins it by saying, I don't want this to cross over into parasocial territory, even though it clearly already has. But for this story to keep making sense, who exactly is this Will Gold that Tyler is so infatuated with? Basically, the SparkNotes version is, Wilbur Gold is the lead singer of this indie rock band, and he goes by the stage name Wilbur Soot. Although between you and me, Will Gold is such a better stage name. I don't know what he's doing. Anyways, he started out as a big part of the Dream SMP Minecraft group, which is just a whole other can of worms I don't really feel like opening right now. But basically, he used the momentum from his Minecraft shenanigans to kickstart his music career, releasing several parodies and singles before finally starting a band with his friends called Lovejoy, which is what he's best known for today. Now, Tyler loves Lovejoy so much that, unprompted, he auditioned for the band via TikTok, which, I mean, shoot or shoot, I guess.
Absolutely no idea if one of my favorite bands might want a second vocalist, but I do know I am crazy enough to ask. So hi, Lovejoy. Do you want a second vocalist? My name is Tyler Salona, I'm 26 years old, I live in Texas, but I'm trying to move to England anyway. I'm a massive extrovert, I've been performing since I was 10, and in 2019 I was actually a semi-professional vocalist, but then had to spend almost 5 years getting my voice back after losing it completely because someone hit me with their car. Anyway, here's Portrait of a Blank Slate. The whole thing. I hope you like it. I mean, you probably like it already, let's be honest. It is your song, but I also hope you like the parts that I'm gonna do. The singing part. You know. This is a long intro for TikTok, but we can make it over here, so listen to it. It's amazing. I love this song. Shit. He told me that much and now he's dead. Told me to kill my indulgences with a sharp blow to the temple. Pick up the phone call and do everything he says.
The sad part is, he's not even that bad. He's something arguably worse. Just kinda alright. Which, there's nothing wrong with being mediocre, but this is where his overconfidence starts to fade into delusion. The fact that he thought, you know what? I'm so goated with the sauce, they'd be crazy not to pick me up. But even crazier still, apparently they actually saw the audition video, and for some reason that no one could possibly fathom, they politely declined. So I met Lovejoy last night. Mark recognized me and my roommate, which was fun. Love that guy. But there were also several other people from TikTok who recognized me, which is always fun. Love it when that happens. It's always at shows, and I love that for me. But they know about the audition video. They didn't ask me to join the band, but it's fine. They seem to be doing pretty okay without me, at least. Also, side note, the number of people who took that I'm so serious as I'm so serious, wild to me. Do you not hear my voice? Of course I didn't think they were gonna actually want me to join the band. I was bored and views were low. The world was my oyster. So he says, obviously I wasn't serious, but just given his overall vibe and the delusion shown thus far, I get the sense it was more of like a ha ha ha, JK, JK. Unless... The last thing to talk about regarding the whole Wilbur situation is when Tyler caught some backlash online from defending Wilbur Soot from some abuse allegations. Again, SparkNotes version. Apparently, Wilbur has some sort of biting fetish or something and would regularly bite his girlfriend. Now, they had a safe word for this, but she said he would keep going even after she said the safe word and leave bruises all over her body. And then on top of this, being emotionally abusive and manipulative. Anyway, here's Tyler's response.
Cancel culture is bullshit. And I'm not talking about holding people accountable for their awful actions, because obviously we should be doing that. I'm talking about how many people are training their audiences to be internet attacked on. So if you find yourself asking, is this person an abuser, or did they just fuck up somehow? Here are some questions that you should always ask. The first question's a little gray, but it has to do with intention. Did they knowingly hurt you on purpose? And if you know for a fact that they did it on purpose, then yeah, that person sucks, they're an abuser. But if you can't be sure they knew they were hurting you, you have to ask yourself another question. This one's a two-parter. One, did you tell them it hurt you? Because if you didn't, I'm sorry, you have to. You can't assume they know unless you tell them. But after you tell them, you have to ask, how did they respond to you telling them? Did they get angry? Did they blame you? Did they hurt you more? Did they try to shut you up somehow? Then yeah, unfortunately, probably an abuser. Or did they find out that they hurt you and apologize? Did they validate your feelings? Did they promise to change? Did they make genuine efforts to better themselves towards you and people around them? Because in that case, they're probably just someone who fucked up.
The problem is, Tyler actually makes some pretty decent points here about weaponizing internet culture, but then he completely ruins it with his dog shit take of, well, you see, he's not actually an abuser because it was all just a silly little accident and he's really sorry. You know, it's giving leave Britney alone type vibes if you guys have ever seen that old video.
When is it professional to publicly bash someone who's going through a hard time? Leave Britney alone! Please!
But despite the allegations and all the drama, Tyler is still obsessed with Wilbur and actively wants to move to England to be closer with him. He even has a GoFundMe set up that has somehow raised over $16,000 to help with moving expenses. So just keep that in mind as we continue with the rest of the video. Moving to England is his endgame here. I mean, he says it's not because of Wilbur and he just loves England, but it's like, come on son, who you fooling?
Seen the guy moving halfway around the world just to be closer to a YouTuber? If y'all think I would make a massive life-altering decision that takes years of work to achieve, just because I was willing to admit on the internet that I think a musician I don't know has a pretty laugh, then y'all really have the wrong idea.
Imagine being so delusional you have to make a video to prove why you're not delusional. Now, he says he wants to move to Brighton because it's a beautiful up-and-coming city, and also he's allegedly a fan of some random football club there, but for $1 million, do you want to guess where Wilbur Soot coincidentally also lives? Huh. Damn, bro, that's crazy. This is like me saying I really want to move to Detroit because it's an up-and-coming city and the Lions are looking really good this year. By the way, it has nothing to do with the fact that I want to marry Eminem. But unfortunately, something he said in this video reminds me we have to go down yet another weird side story. Now, this is the same video we just watched, but I want you guys to pay close attention to this part here.
I was supposed to move to Bournemouth a couple years ago. I had a job lined up, I did a ton of research, made a ton of preparations, admittedly got a little too excited because it ended up falling through at the last minute.
So he says he has a dream job lined up in England, but it, quote, fell through at the last minute. Aw, man, hate when that happens. But just to solidify how totally real and legit this dream job is, here's a quick compilation of him talking about it.
I'm trying to move to England. There's a job waiting for me. It's something that I specialize in, and it'll give me enough free time to also focus on my own work and building my own name. And I'm super excited, so it's gonna be with my friends, and it's awesome. Because right now I have an incredible job working with amazing people in England waiting for me, and I just have to get. I just love asking for help on the internet. Because I found my dream job, and I got my dream job, but I gotta go to the dream job. And the only way to do that is to pay to get there. So I made this thing. See, I managed to land my dream job after years and years of working. I have a job waiting for me with a group of just incredible artists that I can't disclose.
So allegedly, Tyler has a job lined up with an actual successful artist, a man named Stuart Semple, who, fun fact, is actually the creator of the world's pinkest pink. Learn something new every day, I suppose. Just to reiterate, dream job, waiting in England. He's just got to get to England. So where did it all go wrong? Well, I'll let Tyler tell his side of the story first.
Fuck Stuart Semple. I have been so incredibly pissed off with the way this man fucked me over for over a year, and I don't like being angry, and I want to leave all these shitty ass feelings in 2024, so if y'all want to be angry with me, let's be angry. I traveled 8,000 miles to spend a day in the Culture Hustle studio, completely fell in love with it while doing what was actually free labor now that I think about it, and then he starts looking for a new assistant, and I'm told to apply, so I do. And then when I don't get that job, honestly really glad I didn't, I'm not made to be someone else's assistant, so I ask him, point blank, hey, can I have a different job in the studio and I'll just move to England? I'll raise the funds myself. I've got to be out by this date. Could it happen? And he said yes.
Okay, now here's what actually happened. Tyler went on a tour of Stuart's workshop, and Stuart vaguely mentioned the possibility of maybe working for him. Here's his official response to what happened. It wasn't even that. He asked me for a job and I was trying to be nice, and said if he ever made it back to England, we could talk about it. He spent less than half an hour with me. He was really lovely and I wish him well, but sadly, there was never a job offer. Certainly nothing that should have made him sell all of his belongings and plan to move halfway across the world. I hope he's okay. So, remember when Tyler said the job fell through at the last minute? My brother in Christ, there never was a job. If this doesn't convince you that he is delusional, then I fear nothing will. Also, just to add insult to injury, after Tyler made that video bashing Stuart came out with a line of paintings that just said, "This painting is not a job offer." Holy dunked on, bro. But let's switch gears real quick. By the way, that transition is going to be a lot more funny in a couple of seconds. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to come out in post, but in some of these clips, you might have heard Tyler mention the accident.
I got hit by a car and couldn't sing anymore. But then had to spend almost 5 years getting my voice back after losing it completely because someone hit me with their car.
Back in 2019, Tyler was in a car accident, and that's now the reason why he stays home making beaded jewelry. Now honestly, I feel bad for him, I really do. Car accidents suck. However, there's a lot of weird stuff going on regarding this particular accident. First of all, because he can't just be normal for 2 goddamn seconds, instead of saying he got into a car accident, he prefers to say, "I totaled a Lexus with my body."
Someone once totaled a Lexus with my body, and now I'm a professional freeloader. I do prefer the word artist, though.
Also, sometimes when he talks about the accident, he'll refer to it as a motorcycle accident, which is weird because Tyler doesn't actually own a motorcycle. It's a moped. Now listen, I'm not hating on mopeds here. In fact, I'm actually the proud owner of one myself. That being said, never in a million years would I tell someone that I drive a motorcycle. Like, bro, the fuck? But that's not the only case of him stretching the truth here, because on the rare occasions where he doesn't say, "I totaled a Lexus with my body," he'll say, "I was hit by a car," which is an important phrasing because it would imply that he was the victim in this instance, which would in fact be incorrect.
I fell into a Tyler Catastrophe rabbit hole, and I'm pretty sure this is a car accident where he totaled a Lexus with his body. The date of this accident was 10/24/2019, which is the day that he claimed that it happened, and then it happened in Allen, Texas, which is where he stays at, I'm pretty sure, who was an uninsured and unlicensed driving a Yamaha moped or motorcycle. The report does say that the person deemed at fault in this accident was the Yamaha for failure to yield right of way.
Okay, I'm getting a little bit nervous here because the script for this video is getting kinda long, and we haven't even begun talking about his art yet, and oh boy, is there a lot to say. So, Tyler specializes in 2 main types of art, these beaded necklaces and these massive fucking paintings. Let's start with the necklaces. Now you might have noticed that in almost every video shown thus far, Tyler is wearing one of these bead necklaces, and as far as I can tell, this is his main source of income. And the best part is, each one of these necklaces can go for up to hundreds of dollars. I'll let him explain why.
It is wild how wrong some of y'all are about what I do. And maybe that's because I've been downplaying it for so long. I think it's funny to oversimplify and just say I put beads on a string for a living, but this? Let's remind you who I am today, huh? The piece I'm currently wearing is $575, took 2 people with months of work. And the level of skill it would have required to even think of this piece took me 8 years. And it's not the only one. This one cost $475, but luckily I followed it up with this one, which is $375, and it's probably one of the best color schemes I've ever gotten to do. You want to know how I know that these pieces are worth their price? Aside from the years of practice and the months of work, aside from the fact that you can't get them anywhere else.
So apparently the reason they're so expensive is because you, quote, can't get them anywhere else. Which is technically true, but that's only because you can in fact get much better pieces for cheaper. It literally took me 2 seconds on Etsy to find much higher quality pieces for a fraction of the cost. Now granted, he does say he has some items listed for cheaper, but the items in question are actually just 50-cent Temu earrings he's trying to flip for 15 bucks. You'll also notice he absolutely loves modeling his own jewelry. In fact, he wears almost every single piece himself before selling it. And there have been several reports from people who actually bought his stuff that you can tell he didn't try to like wash it or anything before shipping it because they came kind of like greasy and gross. And then there's the ribbons. Don't even get me started on the goddamn ribbons.
Which is also a great way to show you that all of my pieces tie in the back with the ribbon. So they're fully adjustable, hypoallergenic. Most of them have never even touched metal, and I love that.
So Tyler is just super proud of the fact that his jewelry is held together by a ribbon instead of a traditional clasp because he claims it makes them fully adjustable. Even though a clasp can also be fully adjustable. That's what the extra rings are for. Not only does it make the jewelry look cheap, but I argue it is infinitely less practical. Think about how many times your shoes randomly come untied. Not very often, but often enough to be an inconvenience every once in a while. Now imagine you and your boys were out drinking at the bar. You just queued up Cotton Eye Joe 20 times back to back on the touch tunes, and you're out there on the dance floor absolutely killing it. And somewhere in between the 8th and 9th rendition of Cotton Eye Joe, you realize, oh no, my $500 necklace just came untied, now it's lost forever. Now I know what you're probably thinking, Sasabob, I don't care. These necklaces are simply too fabulous, I must possess one. Well, I got some bad news for you, buckaroo. Or at least if you live in the US like me. I am currently limiting chokers to non-US orders only, as I am in the process of working to move out of the US myself, and the tariffs aren't something I want any of my supporters to have to deal with. The US shipping price is just so no one in the US will order, since I can't turn US shipping off completely. Necklaces, $600. Shipping and handling, $1 million. Bro really thinks every penny from the shipping is just going straight into the big Yahoo's bank account. Also, even if you are willing to drop a cool milli on some necklaces, I got some bad news for you, as Tyler is allegedly still working on the August orders. That of course being August 2025. Okay, now let's talk about his art. My main critique of his art is the same as his singing. It's not bad, it's just kind of alright. I mean, credit where credit's due, certainly better than anything I could have done, but just wait till you hear the price.
You want to hear something really dumb? So, some rando, aka the art collector expert, just told me that $1,800, $1,800, was way too much to pay for this gorgeous piece of art right here that literally took me a year, and is 4 feet tall. So, fuck that guy. It's $32,000 now. I'm not going any lower.
You're saying this piece took you a year to make? Yikes! Must have been a rough year. Also, are you out of your goddamned mind? Trust me, the people who have $32K to drop on art don't want this. And that's not to say all of his art is bad necessarily. I actually kind of like this Icarus inspired painting he did. And I mean, yeah, maybe if I saw it for like $5 at a Goodwill I'd pick it up, but I'm not about to drop a down payment on a condo for it. Are you crazy? And the thing about his paintings are, they're fucking massive. I saw this really interesting take on TikTok. I'll play the video if I can find it, but basically they argue that Tyler is confusing big art with good art. And just because a painting is 7 feet tall doesn't mean it's worth thousands of dollars. And that's potentially why he's overvaluing his paintings. I think a really interesting concept in the art world is the idea of self-portraits, because it gives you a rare glimpse into how an artist perceives themselves. This is famously seen in the evolution of Picasso's self-portraits over the years. And the fact that Tyler decides to depict himself as a muscular Giga Chad in his art, I think tells you everything you need to know about his character. But speaking of his character, I want to talk about his personality and ego real quick, because damn is he one cocky motherfucker. Part of what makes his videos so cringy and hard to watch is just how egotistical he is. He talks about himself very highly and calls himself awesome and amazing every chance he gets. And then there's the thirst trap videos.
That guy in the pit never got the memo. If you don't like My Chemical Romance, you wait outside for your girlfriend.
But I actually ran into this guy on TikTok who had a very interesting take onto why he's like this. I'll link the full clip in the description down below if you want to watch it, but basically, he argues that there's a sort of double standard in our society, where overconfidence in women is seen as okay and even celebrated, but in men it is seen as cringy. And because Tyler spent the first part of his life identifying as female, this sort of behavior was seen as okay. But now that he's identifying as a male, this exact same behavior is seen as arrogance rather than empowerment. I honestly really like this take a lot, and I think it explains a lot of his behavior. A funny example of this is in the Tyler Catastrophe, trademark penning by the way, there is a sort of inside joke where people call him Jolene, not as a way to purposefully misgender him, but because in a video he once said this about himself.
Such random people used to come up to me on the street and tell me that the way that I looked is how they pictured Jolene from the Dolly Parton song Jolene.
Let's just say there's a reason why the comment section on all of his videos are turned off. But the other thing I want to talk about is something that I noticed personally. I feel like he really has this need where he wants to appear special. For example, he claims to be a descendant of Edgar Allan Poe, who famously had no children, and he's also offhandedly mentioned how he's related to royalty in some way somehow. But the weirdest thing I noticed is he seems like he's one of those white people who hates the fact that he's white. Which, I mean, I guess I can't blame him too much, you know, let's be for real. White people haven't had aura since Chuck Norris. Numerous times, Tyler has tried to claim to be Two-Spirit, which is a Native American title for non-binary people. But he says that it's okay because he was born in Oklahoma, which has been historically indigenous territory, and that, quote, the land remembers her people. After the immense backlash from the Native American community, he later claimed to be part Latino because he has part Portuguese ancestry, even though anyone who's passed middle school geography can tell you that Portugal is very much a part of Europe, and most people still consider them to be white. You know, you wake up one morning and decide you want to be a man? Yeah, sure, go for it. Who cares? But you can't just wake up one morning and decide to be a different ethnicity. I think that's where they draw the line, big dog. And just like that, congratulations, you're all caught up on the Tyler Catastrophe lore. Well, almost, because the last and most recent thing he posted was a 10-minute apology video that really only makes sense if you have all the context. Luckily for you, you just watched a video giving you all the context. So let's break it down.
This video is probably going to be the full 10 minutes because doing a part 2 feels really scummy. But if you could please bear with me and stay to the end, I have a lot to say, and there's a lot you need to know, and apologies that need to be made. And I need to just lay it all out on the table all at once.
Honestly, as far as internet apologies go, I thought this one was better than most. But to be fair, that's a pretty low bar. I've got a couple gripes with it, but we'll get into that later. The three main things he apologizes here for are the Two-Spirit stuff, the Wilbur abuser situation, and then lastly how rude he was to Stuart Semple. In regards to the whole Two-Spirit stuff, he basically says, "My B, I didn't realize you couldn't do that."
So, firstly, I do not refer to myself as Two-Spirit. I have mistakenly done so in the past, in 2023, I think, in a video I honestly thought I deleted, because I realized right after I posted the video that I fucked up. The words that I ended up saying were entirely wrong, and my exhaustion and overwhelm in the moment does not excuse it. I fucked up, and I am genuinely sorry. I have never meant any disrespect to the Native and Indigenous communities. I just picked all the wrong words, and I am so fucking sorry.
Now the Wilbur situation is a bit different, and is where I have some issues. He never specifically apologizes for defending an abuser, which is what people were mad about him for in the first place. Instead, he basically just says, you know, it was none of my business and I should have never gotten involved.
And while part of me wants to clear up several more things, every time I try, it just keeps sounding like justifications. And at this point, I think I just need to bow out
admit that I went about things the wrong way, and wound up investing myself in something that was none of my business. I promise I have learned from this, I will continue learning from this, and I will refrain from inserting myself into things like this in the future.
And then finally he ends on a slightly stronger note with Stuart Semple by saying he was just very angry at the time and he overreacted. So what's next for Tyler? Well, plot twist, in a now deleted TikTok, he claims to have packed all of his stuff into a storage unit and is currently en route to England. That's right, Wilbur Soot, watch your back. Now that post was a couple weeks ago and no one has heard or seen from him since. So what happens next? Who's to say? I genuinely hope he's able to start a new life in England, preferably offline for his sake. As funny as it would be if he came back, I don't think he deserves the level of harassment he's been getting. People have literally been sending him like death threats and stuff, and that's just not okay. But I mean, as unfair as that is, if you can't handle the smoke, bro, get out of the kitchen. I'm gonna end this video on a bit of a rant, if you'll allow it. When you post videos online, and especially social media, you're entering into a social contract of sorts, where you're agreeing to exist as a public figure in a sea of anonymity. And this is both the beauty and the horror of the internet. On one hand, you're able to expose yourself and your thoughts to potentially millions of people. But on the flip side, you also gotta be willing to take criticism from a guy named PoopLover123. Genuinely, I do have a lot of respect for Tyler for being unapologetically himself online, but the one thing I think that some of these creators like Tyler don't realize is you shouldn't post something online if you're not open to the possibility of being clowned on for it. And that goes for me as well. As far as I'm concerned, anything I post on this channel, that's fair game. Now granted, I haven't experienced a fraction of the harassment that Tyler has, but that's also why I don't post every impulsive thought I have to social media. All I'm saying is, I think it would be best for Tyler's mental health if he stays off the internet, or at the very least, takes a very long hiatus. Again, sorry for the rant, but yeah, those are all my thoughts on Tyler Catastrophe. I know this video got a little bit less jokey towards the end, so if you miss funny Sasabob, then you're in luck, because I've recently started posting semi-consistently over on TikTok, so if you want a couple laughs, go check that out. I'll link it down below. Other than that, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like button, or if you really liked the video, then consider causing a catastrophe on that subscribe button for even more internet shenanigans. Okay, bye-bye. See you guys next time.